In the sprawling city of Manchester, England, where grey skies seemed permanently etched above industrial chimneys, lived Isabella Chen, a 26-year-old artist who possessed the most extraordinary and tragic gift imaginable. She could steal colors from the world around her. Isabella discovered her ability during her darkest moment. 3 years ago, her younger brother Thomas had died in a motorcycle accident, leaving her world drained of meaning. As she sat in her cramped flat in Ancoats, surrounded by his paintings and sketches, Isabella wished desperately that she could preserve something, anything, of the vibrant life Thomas had lived. That's when it happened. As tears fell onto one of Thomas's paintings, a brilliant sunset over the Lake District, Isabella watched in amazement as the orange and crimson hues lifted from the canvas, absorbed into her skin. The painting turned gray, but Isabella's pale hands now glowed with warm sunset colors. Over the following months, Isabella learned to control her gift. She could touch any object and absorb its color, storing it within herself like a living palette. A red rose would turn white at her touch, but she could later release that crimson onto a blank canvas. Yellow daffodils became colorless, but their golden essence lived in her fingertips. The ability came with a terrible price. Every color Isabella absorbed was permanently stolen from the world. The rose would never be red again. The daffodil would remain forever pale. Initially, Isabella used her gift selfishly. She stole colors from abandoned buildings in Salford, from weeds growing through broken concrete, from graffiti that no one would miss. Her artwork became legendary in Manchester's underground art scene. Gallery owners from London came calling, offering exhibitions and fame, but Isabella's conscience began to torment her. She was literally draining color from the world, making it grayer with each painting she created. Everything changed when she met David Harrison, a blind photographer from Liverpool who had lost his sight in the same accident that claimed his ability to see colors. David had developed a revolutionary technique of photography based on texture, temperature, and emotional resonance rather than visual elements. "I may not see colors," David told Isabella during their first meeting at a coffee shop in the Northern Quarter, "but I can feel them. Every color has a vibration, an energy. Red is warm and aggressive. Blue is cool and calming. Yellow is bright and optimistic." Intrigued, Isabella began working with David, describing colors in ways she'd never considered before. Through their collaboration, she realized that colors weren't just visual elements. They were emotions, memories, and experiences made tangible. Their relationship deepened, and Isabella found herself falling in love with David's unique perspective on the world. But she couldn't bring herself to tell him about her gift, terrified that he would see her as a thief who was making the world more gray and lifeless. The crisis came when Isabella discovered that Manchester was experiencing what locals called the Grey Death. Colors were mysteriously fading from the city. Flowers in Heaton Park were losing their vibrancy. The red brick buildings of the university were turning brown. Even the blue sky seemed perpetually overcast. Isabella realized with horror that she wasn't the only color collector in the world. Someone else was stealing colors on a massive scale. But unlike Isabella, they weren't preserving them in art. They were destroying them entirely. Through research at the John Rylands Library, Isabella discovered the truth. An organization called the Chromatic Order, founded in Victorian times by a wealthy industrialist named Cornelius Blackthorne, believed that color was a distraction from human productivity and spiritual development. They had spent over a century developing technology to drain colors from the world, believing that a gray, colorless society would be more focused and disciplined. The order had agents throughout Britain, in Birmingham, Leeds, Newcastle, and Bristol, all working to create their vision of a perfectly gray world. They used devices called chromatic siphons, machines that could drain colors from entire city blocks and convert them into a gray mist that dissipated into nothingness. Isabella knew she had to stop them, but she also realized she couldn't do it alone. She would need to reveal her secret to David and ask for his help. When she finally told him everything, David's reaction surprised her. "Isabella," he said quietly, "I've known about your gift for months. How? Remember what I said about feeling colors? Every time you're near me, I can sense this incredible rainbow of absorbed hues emanating from your body. You're like a walking aurora borealis. David revealed that he wasn't just a photographer. He was part of a secret society called the Chromatic Guardians, people who protected color and beauty in the world. His blindness had enhanced his other senses to superhuman levels, allowing him to detect color collectors from miles away. The difference between you and the Order, David explained, is that you preserve colors in your art, you transform them, but they continue to exist. The Order simply destroys them. Together, Isabella and David began hunting the Chromatic Order's agents across England. Isabella would absorb the colors being stolen by their machines, while David used his enhanced senses to locate their hidden facilities. Their first target was a chromatic siphon hidden beneath Manchester's town hall. As Isabella placed her hands on the massive machine, she felt an overwhelming rush of colors flowing into her, not just from the device, but from every color it had ever stolen. Reds, blues, yellows, greens, purples, and oranges flooded her system until she felt she might explode from the vibrant energy. But instead of keeping these colors for herself, Isabella made a revolutionary choice. She began releasing them back into the world, not through paintings, but by touching the gray, drained objects around the city. Dead flowers regained their bloom, faded buildings brightened, the Manchester sky cleared to reveal brilliant blue. Word of Isabella's mission spread through the underground networks of artists, photographers, and creatives across Britain. Soon, she had allies in every major city. Painters in Edinburgh who could sense where colors had been stolen, musicians in Cardiff who could hear the silence where vibrant hues used to sing, poets in Oxford who could feel the emotional emptiness left behind by drained colors. The final confrontation came at the Order's headquarters, hidden beneath the London Eye. Cornelius Blackthorne IV, descendant of the organization's founder, had built the ultimate chromatic siphon, a machine capable of draining all color from Britain in a single day. "You don't understand," Blackthorne told Isabella as she and David infiltrated his facility. "Color is chaos. It creates desire, passion, distraction. In a gray world, humans could achieve perfect focus, perfect productivity, perfect order." Isabella looked at this man who had never understood the joy of a sunset, the comfort of green grass, the excitement of red roses. "Color isn't chaos," she said. "It's life itself. It's love, hope, dreams, and beauty. Without color, we're not more focused. We're just more dead." The battle that followed was unlike anything the world had ever seen. Isabella absorbed colors directly from Blackthorne's machines, but instead of storing them, she released them immediately as weapons of pure beauty. Streams of golden sunlight blinded the Order's guards. Waves of ocean blue swept their weapons away. Explosions of rainbow energy shattered their gray uniforms. But the strain was enormous. Isabella's body couldn't handle the massive amounts of color flowing through her. She began to fade, becoming translucent as her life force merged with the hues she was channeling. "Isabella!" David cried out, using his enhanced senses to locate her even as she became nearly invisible. With her final act, Isabella released every color she had ever absorbed, not just from the machines, but from her entire 3-year collection. The explosion of color was so intense it could be seen from space, a rainbow aurora that danced across the British Isles and began spreading around the world. Colors that had been stolen over decades were restored instantly. The London Eye became a brilliant Ferris wheel of every hue imaginable. The Thames sparkled with reflected rainbows. Flowers in Hyde Park bloomed more vibrantly than ever before. Isabella collapsed, her body now completely colorless, not gray, but translucent, like a living crystal. David held her as she whispered her final words. Promise me you'll help people see colors the way you do. Not just with their eyes, but with their hearts." Isabella didn't die. Instead, she became something unprecedented. Her consciousness merged with every color in the world. She became the guardian spirit of all hues, ensuring that no one could ever steal color from the world again. Sometimes, On particularly beautiful days, artists would report seeing a translucent figure standing near rainbows, or feel an invisible hand guiding their brushes toward the perfect shade. David continued their work, traveling the world and teaching people to appreciate color not just visually, but emotionally and spiritually. He founded schools for the blind that taught students to experience colors through sound, touch, and feeling. His photography became legendary, capturing the essence of colors that even sighted people had never truly perceived. The Chromatic Order was disbanded, their members learning to appreciate the beauty they had tried to destroy. Blackthorne himself became one of Isabella's most devoted followers, spending his remaining years creating art that celebrated every possible shade and hue. In Manchester, a statue was erected in Isabella's honor. Not a grey stone monument, but a crystal sculpture that refracted sunlight into thousands of rainbow patterns. The plaque simply read, "Isabella Chen, the color collector. She gave her colors to the world so that the world would never be grey." And in art galleries across Britain, David's photographs hang alongside paintings that seem to glow with impossible vibrancy. Isabella's final gift to humanity, colors so pure and intense that they can move viewers to tears of joy, reminding everyone who sees them that in a world full of grey, choosing to see in color is the most rebellious and beautiful act of all.